Hi, I'm Christy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm here with all of my 5-star reads for January through March of 2025. Alright, so now since quarter one is officially finished for 2025, I wanted to do all of my 5-star reads for the first 3 months of the year. So January, February, and March of 2025. I have had 10 5-star reads so far for the year, and I cannot wait to talk about these today. So this video is 5-star books only. I did these videos last year for every quarter of all of my 5-star books, so that was really fun to look back on at the end of the year, see all of my favorites, and so I wanted to continue and do it this year as well. Of course, I do have other books that I'm like obsessed with throughout the year, so I have done like books I'm obsessed with videos. I will link the previous one I did, which I need to do a new one of those soon, probably at the end of April. And so that's all of like the 4.5 and a 5-star read books that I've had, because I am kind of a pickier reader, so not every book gets a 5-star for me. And so that video was kind of like books I'm obsessed with. Again, I'll link it below if you missed it. And then in today's video, it's 5-star vibes only. So I'm so excited to talk about these 10 books. I will link them all below so that if you miss any, you can go back and check them out, check out their authors. Love these books to pieces. Cannot wait to talk about them. Of course, as always, if you ever want to see more of my thoughts or full reviews on any of the books that I do read, I review every book on Goodreads, and all of my reviews are always linked below as well. So let's get into it. First up is A First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I'm just going to go in order of when I read these. So this was my very first 5-star read of the year. I read this one in January when it came out. This is a kind of exclusive edition. I think it was like the Walmart exclusive edition. So it's purple instead of the usual pink, with like the pretty purple metallic foiling as well. I love this book to pieces, so I had to grab a few different versions of the editions. Honestly, B.K. Borison is an auto-buy author for me. I love her books so much. In this book, we have a single mom heroine, and she is a car mechanic, and her daughter is a preteen or teenager, and basically her daughter calls in one night to a love kind of like radio show where the hero is the host of the radio show, and it's focusing on like dating and love lives and things like that. And so the heroine's daughter calls in to get help for her mom, where she wants the hero to kind of help her mom find a date. And so the heroine hops on the call as well, and it kind of goes viral the next day. And so it kind of goes from there, with the radio show wanting the hero to reach out to the heroine and have a segment with her and him where he is basically trying to help her find dates. The hero in here, like I said, he has this like dating advice kind of love show, but he has recently fallen out of the idea of love. And so his show has been kind of stagnant. And so this kind of like new inspiration, him helping out the heroine, is kind of like getting the numbers up again for his show and getting him interested in his show again, and also getting him interested in the heroine, of course, because as he's trying to pair her up with other people to go on dates with, he starts to fall for her instead. It is so stinking cute. I love this book so much. Very much like a romantic, sweet, swoony book, if you love those types. So this book is definitely that. Very much those cozy, just like sweet romantic vibes. This is a Sleepless in Seattle inspired story. Love it so much. So I'm also going to be including some rereads as well. So this is Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. Obsessed with the blue and gold on here. It is so stunning. And then we have the gorgeous Step Back as well. So I'm currently a co-host for a Hathaway's Read Along, where we are reading the Hathaway's series by Lisa Kleypas. This is a historical romance series that follows 5 siblings. This whole series is a reread for me, but I love them to pieces. And so this first book, Mine Till Midnight, read it in January, and I loved it all over again. 5 stars like always. So the Hathaways is a family of 5 siblings. There's 4 sisters and 1 brother. And basically in here, their family was kind of like more middle class, and they were not ever a part of nobility, never a part of society life. But their brother actually ends up inheriting a title and a house and lands and estates and all of these things. So it kind of thrusts them into this kind of like more society type of lifestyle. This is Amelia's story. She's the oldest sister of the family, and she's very much like the matriarch of the family, who is taking care of all of her siblings, including her brother, who is a bit of a hot mess. And so you kind of see her trying to find him at the beginning of the story so that they can go to their new estate and kind of fix it up and see all the things that come with him becoming a viscount. So along the way, she ends up running into Cam Rohan. He works at a gaming hell, and he's very much interested in Amelia right from the start. He's like, who is this woman who's coming to these dangerous parts of a town to try to find her brother? Like, I want to be in her circle. And so he decides to kind of follow her and see what she's up to. And their story kind of goes from there. This series is just so good. The family aspect is amazing. The found family with Cam just wanting to become a part of this family, take care of them, protect them, all of those things. It is so stinking good. I love this series so much. Definitely pick up the Hathaway series. Start with Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. All right, next up is Comeback by Rebecca Jenshak. I love this book to pieces. You're going to hear me say that a lot because I literally love all of these books. They're all 5 stars for me. This is book 3 in her current Holland Brothers series. So the hero in here is a football player. He's also deaf, so we get ASL rep in here. So the heroine in here is kind of new to town. She's the sister of the hero's best friend, and so she has to live with him and her brother for a little bit, so we get that forced proximity of of them becoming roommates. The heroine as well, she's a dancer. She's trying to open up a dance studio. So we kind of get a mixture of both worlds of dance and football for the sports references in here. I have loved Rebecca Jinczak's books for years, and her current books are just top tier, so good. I love them to pieces. This is a fantastic series if you want to jump into some of her books, so good. So at first, the hero is not a fan of the heroine. The heroine is kind of new to her brother's life, which you see played out in the series as well as in this book as well. And so she's new to his life, and so the hero just wants to make sure that she's going to be there for a while. She's not going to leave her brother and hurt him, and that she's kind of there for the right reasons because they are kind of like famous football stars. And so it kind of goes from there, where at first he's not too sure about her, but over time he realizes that she is there for the right reasons. She's a good person. And so with them becoming roommates, we get all of that forced proximity, angst, and tension. It's just so good. I love these two together, and just seeing how they are just the perfect partner for one another. They're very much there for each other, support each other. So like I mentioned, the hero in this one is deaf. He wears hearing aids. There is ASL rep. The heroine as well, she has asthma, so we get some of her chronic illness rep as well on the page. And I just love these two so much. They're perfect like partnership teammates for one another. Love their story so much. So definitely check out Come Back by Rebecca Jinczak. Next up is Unloved by Peyton Corinne. This is my favorite book of the entire year so far. I love it so much. So I had read Unsteady by Peyton Corinne last year. Love that one as well. And Unloved, I wasn't sure about it going in, if it was going to hit the same, but it hit the same, if not better. I love this book to pieces. It is so good. Definitely more of an emotional story. So just know that with her books kind of going in general. So as you can see, this has like a hockey stick. It has a hockey puck on it. So it kind of starts off as a sports romance, but like I said, there's so much more emotional depth to the story, to the characters. In this one, the hero is a hockey player for their college, and he has been struggling with his grades. He has ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, all the things. So his grades are hurting and he's really struggling, but he needs to get up his grades so that he can possibly get, you know, an NHL career out of his college sports time. And so the heroine steps in, and she is a tutor. And so it kind of starts off with her tutoring him, but it goes into so much more depth from there for their characters. They're both very much these characters who are people pleasers. Like they have very much made themselves feel less than over the years. So they're kind of like the perfect mirror for one another. They both very much feel like they are unworthy of love, unloved, as the title suggests. And so I loved seeing these two together. Like I said, it definitely goes into more emotional elements as well. Love this book so much. Highly recommend checking out Peyton Corinne's books. They're so underrated and so good. Next up is Devotion by Claire Kent. So if you have been around here for a while, you know that Claire Kent is one of my all-time favorites. I love her post-apocalyptic romances and have been reading her books for years. And so this is a start of a new series. And so in here we get a dystopian world, which definitely does connect to her other books. So I highly recommend you read her Kindled series first before jumping into this one. But this one is an age gap. It's a transactional relationship. It's basically set in the future, where in here there's this kind of new government, new city kind of building up. So it's really hard to describe this book, but basically in here, the heroine is a bit of a hired companion, where it is kind of a career field and it's really respected where she lives, where basically these people are there for whatever the person that they work for wants, for these kind of like city officials and government workers. So in here, the hero is new to the city, and that's very much like not the vibe in other places where he lives, but the heroine is very sheltered and naive and just thinks that is normal. So you kind of see them butt heads and him try to just kind of go along with things because that's how it's done here, and then over time them fall for one another. This is me describing it horribly, I'm sure, but basically she is a palace partner, I think is the actual term. So he's told that he has to pick a palace partner to live and work with him while he is kind of serving the city. And so he just kind of like randomly picks the heroine, and then when she's in his house, he's like, okay, we're not going to actually do any of those things that you're actually like hired for or supposed to be getting paid for. Just hang out, like do whatever you want. And so to her, that's kind of like looked as disrespectful, because she's like, okay, I'm here to do a job. You're paying me, but I'm not actually like giving you the services, making sure you're having a good time. And so over time, he eventually gives in, hence the transactional relationship. And then from there, of course, it grows into more. And it's just so good. A lot of kind of the heroine realizing that her world view is very sheltered and she doesn't know a lot about things going on. And you kind of see the world getting opened up and explored. It goes from there. So good. Highly recommend. This is Devotion by Claire Kent. All right, next up is another Hathaway's reread. So this is Seduce Me at Sunrise by Lisa Kleypas. Here is this gorgeous red and gold cover, and then we have the beautiful step back moment as well. This is one of my all-time favorites, so rereading it in February was just so much fun. This book is very angsty, very much mutual pining, and here the hero and heroine have known one another for quite a few years. The the hero kind of came to live with the heroine's family when he was a child, and he worked for the family, so he very much feels like he's not worthy of being a part of the family, but he is very much a part of the family at the same time, and so he just doesn't think that he's worthy enough to get the heroine's love, as well as the heroine has a lot of health concerns that she's going through, and so her family, the hero, they've kind of always treated her as kind of fragile, and have just kind of treated her as kind of very delicate, and so basically the heroine is tired of living like that, so she goes away for a couple years to France to try to get better at this like health clinic. She comes back with a doctor in tow who is very much intrigued with her and wanting to kind of make things happen there, and so when the hero sees that, he's like, absolutely not. If he thinks he can have you, like, I can do so much better. And so it kind of goes from there, that very much like childhood friends to lovers, mutual pining that is so good, the tension and angst between this couple, love it to pieces. If you also love kind of like mutual pining and angst, this book is definitely that, so highly recommend checking out Seduce Me at Sunrise by Lisa Kleypas. All right, next up is Buried Dreams by Natasha Madison. So first off, I love this cover because we have the people cover, and then it's a flip book where you get the kind of discreet cover as well. I've sent this from the author and I love it so much. So this is book 3 in her Dream series, and if you love emotional, angsty romances, this book is definitely that. This is a contemporary romance series of standalones. So in here, the whole series has followed this friend group where basically there were 6 friends, I want to say, in high school, and they got into this tragic car accident where some of their friends passed away, and so there's a lot of hurt feelings over that. It's been like, I think, a decade or so since then, but a lot of people kind of came out of that hating one another, blaming each other, kind of all of these things from the survivors. And so in this one, this is actually a second chance of one of the couples that was together when they were in high school when the car accident happened, and now it's years later. They had kind of gone their separate ways in life, and that accident kind of tore them apart, and so now the heroine has to return back home because her mother gets ill and she has to look after her mother's bakery. So she comes back to town and she runs into the hero, who is her ex from high school. They always thought they were going to be like married and in love and everything. They're very much soulmates, and so now it's been many years and he is a single father now, and it kind of goes from there. Love this one so much, especially if you love like emotional with hate to love. We get some hate banging in here. So good. I just love this series. So this is Buried Dreams by Natasha Madison. Next up is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. So this is the newest release from this author that came out in January, and I just read it in March and I loved it so much. So this author, I have realized I've read all of her books and I just really enjoy them, especially her last couple books. And so this book, Out of the Woods, was so good to me. So this is a marriage and trouble romance where the hero and heroine were high school sweethearts. They've been in one another's lives for their entire lives, it feels like. And so they got married when they were teenagers, and it's basically them, or the heroine in particular, kind of coming to that time where she's like, okay, I don't really know myself. How can I know if we are perfect for one another? Like, we kind of got together before we really knew who we really were as people. And so like, is this meant to be? Are we still in love? Do we like underappreciate each other? Kind of all of those very real feelings that people in long-term relationships have, that you kind of, you know, start to realize, like, are things the same? Have they changed? What's going on? So it kind of goes from there, and you see at the beginning of the story, she asks the hero, her husband, if they can kind of go to this couples retreat, of this kind of wilderness couples retreat. And so he says yes. And so they go along to kind of find the spark, find the love again, and it goes from there. It's so good. So if you love kind of second chance, marriage and trouble, marriage and crisis romances, highly recommend Out of the Woods. It was so good. I like in here as well how it felt just very real, the relationship of being in a long-term relationship. The author as well at the beginning of the book puts how she is also in a marriage where she has married her high school sweetheart. And so it felt just very real and authentic to those feelings. So yeah, highly recommend Out of the Woods. It's so good. Next up is Beautiful Exile by Catherine Cowles. So this is a gorgeous hardcover, a special edition that I was sent from the author in her PR box. It's just so stunning. I'm obsessed with the foil and could stare at this book all day. So this is book 4 in Catherine's current Sparrow Falls series, which is a small town kind of romantic suspense series. Her small towns are some of my all-time favorites, and so highly recommend checking out, honestly, all of her books, but this series in particular. This is the current series that she is writing in. In this book, we have a billionaire hero, so he owns the hockey team in town, and the heroine in here, she is also his best friend's sister. And so the heroine, we have heroine in hiding in this book, and she is kind of a reclusive artist, which you see at the beginning of the story. Why she's kind of in hiding, kind of keeps to herself, is very much just doing her own thing. So you see throughout the series, as well as at the beginning of this book, kind of the heroine's past and why she is the way that she is. Her character is so strong and so amazing. I love her to pieces. So in here, I love the meet cute moment where they meet at a gym. gym where the heroine is kind of sparring and working out. And so it kind of goes from there where he is totally smitten with her from the start. And then he eventually realizes like, oh God, wait a minute, she is my best friend's sister. This probably can't happen. But of course he's so drawn to her. And I love in here the protective elements that he really wants to kind of be the caretaker for her and be there for her and protect her. And it's just so good. I love how strong she is and how she just pumps out her death metal music while she's painting. So good. I love this one to pieces. This is a beautiful Exile by Catherine Cowles. The entire Sparrow Falls series have been 5 stars for me. I love this whole series and this book to pieces. One of my new favorites from Catherine. All right, and then the last one that I have is Lilacs on Lace by Linda Ladd. So this is a gorgeous metallic cover. And then we have this double page gorgeous Scottish Highlands step back moment, which is an absolute stunner. This book had been on my TBR for years to get to just because of this gorgeous step back moment. And so it was the March pick for Historical Hellions, which is a historical romance book club that I run with Jess from Peace Love Books and Samantha from Books with Samantha. So this was our March pick and I was so glad we got to it. Unfortunately, this book is not available in ebook or audiobook, so you have to actually get the physical book, the paperback, to read it. But I promise you it's so worth it. I never read paperbacks and I totally physically read this entire book in a day. I loved it so much. So like I said, this is a Scottish Highlands romance wherein here the heroine has been orphaned and raised in an abbey. And she's always been told these stories of this rival clan who supposedly killed her family and just have it out for her family and all of these things. So you see in here how she's very adventurous and would rather kind of leave the abbey walls, do what she wants, ride horses, wear pants. And so one day the hero shows up and he is posing as somebody to kind of take her to who she's supposed to be betrothed to. So along the way, you see that he tells her that's actually not true. And he tells her who he is. And he happens to be from this family who she thinks is this rival clan of hers. And so he's basically like, actually, everything you've ever been told is a lie. And he kind of tells her a bunch of these secrets of her life and who she really is and these family stories and just all of these things, and kind of tells her that she has a bigger part to play than she thinks. And so I loved in here how the hero was very much like takes his time with her. He kind of laid all of these secrets out to her and he knows her whole life has kind of been turned upside down. So he doesn't like push the envelope with anything else. Like he very much lets her take her time and kind of set the pace for their romance, which I really appreciated. I just love this one. It's very romantic. And then along the way towards the end, you get more of that action adventure with like some kidnapping and the rival clans and some fighting and the queens involved and some family secrets and some plot twists. And it kind of goes from there. I love this one so much. Highly recommend. This is Lilacs on Lace by Linda Ladd. All right, so those are all 10 of my 5-star reads so far for 2025 for January through March. So excited and love all of these books to pieces. I hope you pick some of these up. If you have read any of these, definitely let me know in the comments. If you're going to pick any of them up, I'd love to know that as well. If you had any 5-star reads that you've loved so far this year, definitely drop them in the comments because I want all the recommendations. So definitely do that. And if you'd rather leave me an emoji in today's comments to let me know that you watched this video, leave me the trophy emoji because I feel like all of these are 5-star top tier books that deserve all the awards and the trophies. So do that in the comments, leave me a trophy emoji. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!